Hello and welcome to Sessions from the Shed with me, Seth Cox, Dan Elston, and my friend Tom Kerry.
Hello.
And today we'll be talking about our favourite films of all time. Wow.
All-time favourite films.
Big one.
It's a big meatball, isn't it? Just one big juicy meatball. Right, okay,
So Dan, do you want to set the meatball rolling?
I will set the meatball bar. Right,
Number 7.
Yes, number 7. Inglourious Bastards.
I love that. Is that the
It
only
is good.
Tarantino on your list? Don't say that. That means it's... I think it's my favourite Tarantino.
Ooh.
Yes, it is the only Tarantino on my list.
Brilliant
Oh my God.
film. Brilliant.
Deserves to
film.
be on there. Well
Yeah,
done.
okay.
Number 7 on my list is a foreign film.
Oh.
It's The Hunt by Thomas Vinterberg, a film that came out a couple of years ago. It is honestly the most profound film I've ever seen.
I was
Honestly.
never so emotionally engaged in a film than I was The Hunt. It's what you're talking about with Beale Street. It's where someone
really?
gets wrongly convicted of being a paedophile,
Oh, right.
and then they get outcast from society, and they get sort of abused, and it's really
It's shot beautifully. It's written. Oh, it's just
Acted-
so amazing.
acted beautifully by Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen just. Steals the
I
show.
can never picture myself watching a foreign film.
To be
I
honest,
don't
you
think.
do get lost in foreign films. That's what I've sort of discovered.
I just
over the
think
years.
I-
You have to watch a couple
And
to get
also,
used to it.
If you're watching a foreign film, you make sure you're actually watching it because you have to be constantly on the
Yeah,
screen.
I
so
feel
it's-
like I'd always be reading subtitles. That's the thing.
No, because you don't read them for after a while. Like you just have
It
to
comes naturally. It's
Yeah,
honestly.
Trust me, it does. My number 7 is V for Vendetta.
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh.
Uh,
Okay.
A really good DC film. Well, and then they just
Is
sort
it
of...
DC film?
Yes,
Yeah.
DC. Vertigo Comics. V for Vendetta is absolutely brilliant. Natalie Portman's performance is my favourite performance.
Right, so number 6
My number
for Dan.
6, you guys aren't going to agree with this, but it's just one I connected with straight away. It's Focus. Will Smith is actually arguably my favourite actor. I mentioned Margot Robbie. It's just
We don't objectify women.
not that. No, stop there. We're
Or
not-
ever. I remember watching the trailer for it, and it did have such a cool trailer.
It's great.
Okay, so on to my number 6. It is Pan's Labyrinth. And what can I say that hasn't already been said? It is beautiful. Like the whole entire film. That's the production, the writing. Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro.
So
Really good impression, actually. I should
That
do
is
that more
pretty
often.
good.
I read a review and they used a perfect phrase. They said it's a fairy tale that misbehaves because it does what's
Yeah.
unexpected. I really like that. My number 6, I don't think either of you will agree with, but I think you might appreciate why it's there. It's Birdman. Also, all the performances are really good as well. Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, Emma Stone.
My number 5 is actually known to be quite a controversial film. It's very Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. It's Drive with Ryan Gosling.
oh, amazing film.
It
It's
does-
shot beautifully.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
looks really. The lighting is really.
I have written down
good
the
all the way
director.
through.
I don't know what else he's
I
done.
don't know.
Nicholas Wilding.
He directed a B
Oh,
movie.
Did he
He
actually?
directed B movie.
No.
Who did direct B movie?
Probably
Martin Scorsese.
a B.
The next one on my list is The Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick. A film which is massively controversial like your previous one, but it's incredible. It's just so good, and I could tell Dan's got some criticism.
I never really got it.
Yeah, but it's I love it. I love the production. I love how it's just out there. It's a film. It doesn't care about whether it's going to be restricted or banned. It's just out there. But anyway, moving on to Seth's number 5.
My number 5 is... Oh, I don't think either of you would have seen it, so I'm just going to talk about it for a while. It's called 12 Angry Men. Where's Tom gone? Here he is.
Brilliant.
He just got really bored by what I was
Okay.
saying.
Go on.
So, yeah, no, this guy re-examines the case and he convinces the rest of the jury not to convict this young lad to death.
Interesting.
That does sound like an interesting
And
story.
it's all in one room. It's very claustrophobic because it's all just in one jury room. They're sweating. It's a hot day and the
Is
pressures
it
are
all
high.
shot in one room?
Yeah, all just in one
Oh,
room,
wow.
the whole film.
I
So
love
it's very
films like that.
dialogue based, but it's absolutely brilliant.
Daniel.
You guys are gonna hate me for this, but
It's
I've
one
got
number
to have,
4.
I've got to have one guilty pleasure on the list.
Yeah, you do. You're right. Yeah.
You're especially gonna hate it.
I know
Oh, it's
it
going to be
is.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's gonna be
No, it's
Bohemian
not.
Rhapsody.
What is
The
it?
Greatest Showman.
Oh,
When I was
Not
looking at my
worse.
list of all time, I said, what films can I watch on repeat without getting bored of them? And The Greatest Showman just stood out.
I tell you what, if I had to watch that on repeat, I'd fucking wreck myself.
I love it so much.
Plus, it's not that bad. I mean, I remember
I
going to
love
see
it.
it with the stupid.
Considering I do performing arts and stuff, and I'm doing
Mm.
musical theatre at uni.
It's your
Yeah.
sort of film. To be fair,
It is your big orgasm, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Hugh Jackman. You can't have a list without Hugh Jackman on it.
I've got a list without Hugh Jackman.
You can't have a Dan list without Hugh Jackman.
Well, Dan, you can't have a list.
That's very specific. That's like just saying, you can't have a list without me, and it's just, I'm just trying making you look stupid.
Yeah, actually, we're getting on to my number 1 now. It's actually Tom Kerry's short film.
Recording this, so you don't jump out on me. Is that?
Yeah, you can't have a list without one of my films. I'm telling you. Blimey.
Anyway,
Great Showman's alright. I'll give you that. I mean, I understand why it's on there because it is a lot of fun and
it's a feel-good film.
it's a feel-good film. Apart from Hugh Jackman riding the elephant out at the end. I don't like that.
I watched it 3 times in the cinema, and I've seen it 6 times at home since.
I'm glad you keep a tally.
Tom, your number 4.
My number 4 is one which I have sort of been teased about because I've always loved this film.
Sad music.
I've always
cue.
loved this film. And everyone was always just like, constantly. It just made me feel really sad because I love this film so much, and I think it's genuinely one of the best alternative films ever because it's just bloody Donnie Darko. See?
That was you built that up and then you ruined it at the end.
What can I say that already hasn't been said? I love Donnie Darko so much.
I think it's a very average film.
Okay, to be fair, I'm siding with Tom. I also
It's brilliant.
love Donnie
It's
Darko.
brilliant.
But then again, we
Think about it. That was one of Jake Gyllenhaal's first proper major films.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
And it was just it was the first director's film.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. And it just takes so many risks like the other films we've stated.
Yeah.
But I think it does have flaws. It's not a perfect film, but for me, first time I watched it, I love it. On repeat, I just love it even more. It doesn't progressively get worse.
I think it does get better every time because you understand it more every time. Because
Exactly. It's quite convoluted, but it is amazing.
I do think it's really good. It all ties together so nicely in the end as well.
It really does.
I love it when a plan comes together.
And the great
What's that
soundtrack
from?
as well.
I don't know, what is that from?
Is it
Clip.
from-
I love it when a plan comes together.
I think it's from.
You're going to have to find that now because I'm not going to
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
think it's from the film where George Clooney and Brad Pitt rob a bank.
I think it's from the 18.
Okay.
It's from the 80s.
Anyway, going on to Seth's number 4.
My number 4, actually, funnily enough, is also a director's debut film. And I watched it a couple of days ago.
Interesting.
And it's In Bruges.
I like In Bruges.
Almost made my list. Really almost made my list.
I
I
forgot.
didn't even think about it. I don't think it would have been.
After
my
we
list,
kill
but-
them.
I forgot just how
Wait,
much I
actually,
loved it.
Hang on a second. Who showed you in Bruges?
I think it was Mr. Partington.
I really don't think it was. I think it was me.
Shout
Yeah.
out
Actually,
to Mr. P.
No, we're gonna have to shout out my dad because he showed me, and if he didn't show me, I wouldn't have shown Seth, and Seth wouldn't have shown.
I actually watched it myself in my room.
Do we still have to shout out your dad?
Let's carry on.
Love
Let's
you.
talk about In Bruges.
Let's talk about In Bruges. So there's that wonderful moment in Bruges that I just have to draw to your attention. It's where Brendan Gleeson's character goes to shoot Colin Farrell's character in the head, and then Colin Farrell's character draws a gun to his own head. And then there's that shot of him standing like that and Colin Farrell standing like that, and it's just so good. And
Spoiler stuff.
I didn't spoil it because
Well, you've just spoilt it. The thing about you, Seth, is you inadvertently spoil a film by spoiling a film.
I don't think anything could spoil that film.
No, it's.
You saying it's a perfect film? You saying the rest of the films on your list are perfect?
I'd say it's a perfect film.
Why is it not on
I
your
don't
list
have an
then?
issue with it because there are so many perfect films that could have made this list.
The rest of my
But these
films
are my
perfect
favourites.
films.
And
Oh, okay.
In Bruges
Yeah, fair
originally
enough.
was on this list, but I had to take it off because the ones that weren't, I couldn't remove them.
Right.
Right. Anyway, moving
My
on.
next film is actually from a very, very controversial director that
Interesting.
not a lot of people like, and he's hated for in the community.
So is it not Kubrick?
No, it's M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, I would say he's so much hated.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Can't go wrong with that. I wish I was quite young. So.
Yeah. Reason I like it so much is because when I was younger, I was like, "Wow, Dad, I want to have a sixth sense. I want to be like Spider-Man." And I saw his film, and I was like, "Yeah, can we watch that?" And my dad was like, "No, we're not watching it. You're too young." And I kept on nagging him. And it got to like 9 o'clock at night, and they wanted to go to bed. So my dad put it on, and I sat downstairs and watched it by myself when I was 7 years old. and it scared the living crap
That's
out
quite
of me.
interesting actually, because I watched it quite young and
Yeah.
it scared me.
It's
Oh,
horrible.
that whole
girl
with the
in
tent. The girl in the tent. Oh,
I still
no.
to this day, if
It's
I
very
walk
good.
in someone's room and there's a tent set up, I have to leave. Tents indoors.
Girl in the
freaks
tent.
me.
Girl in
Right,
the tent. Girl
brilliant.
in the tent.
Brilliant, cool. But she just starts throwing up porridge out of her mouth.
It's just a bit weird.
I've had a couple of girls in tents.
But anyway, yeah, M. Night Shyamalan, he's not exactly liked, is he?
But it is a great film.
No,
It's an amazing
his,
film.
in my
I'd
opinion,
say
his
it's his best one.
It's definitely his best film.
Okay.
It's
Well, it
a-
is. I don't want to say it's his first, but it might have been. It
Uh,
was before Unbreakable.
It was early,
was it
but I don't think it
I
was.
think it
his
was after
first.
Signs actually, or was it before Signs?
I think it might have been before.
I think it was
Signs.
before Signs.
It might have been his
Interesting.
first.
Right,
Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay, so moving on to my number 3, it's another Kubrick. It's another Kubrick, and I tell you what, this was almost. I've been shuffling around this list most of this week,
Yeah, if we did.
and I really wanted to put on 2001: A Space Odyssey, but
Sorry, say that again.
Odyssey. Sorry, not Odyssey. I was thinking of Ground Control.
Space
to
Odyssey
Major
almost made it on
Tom.
mine.
Ground
Excuse me.
Control.
Space Odyssey almost made it on mine.
Did it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Did it?
yeah.
it's a brilliant film. However, it has to be Barry Lyndon. I love Barry Lyndon.
Okay.
Presented
He's
by
a
the
bloke.
National Board of
Isn't it
Review.
Barry.
Shut up, you kid. Oh,
Barry!
sorry, Barry.
Oh, Barry.
Up late with that podcast again.
It's one of his probably his most underrated films.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it
I've
is-
never heard of it.
It's spectacular, genuinely. The thing was, my dad bought the. I think he bought the collection of Kubrick films
Do you wanna-
in
do you
a
wanna-
Blu-ray. Let me finish.
Okay.
And it had Barry Lyndon, and it said it was a PG, and I was thinking this will be terrible. This won't be good. It's a PG. It's called Barry Lyndon. I think it's in the 1800s, and I watched it and I fell in love with it. It's genuinely
Do you want to
a
give us a
masterpiece.
quick synopsis?
Yeah, what sort of?
Basically, Barry Lyndon, I think he comes from a reasonably poor background, not the most privileged, but he sort of makes his way up the hierarchy until it gets to a point where it's so.
I don't agree with that in the workplace.
Like Alan Sugar.
I don't want to spoil the film, but it's excellent because it depicts how greedy someone can get and the tragedies that unfold because of it. And it's the production's amazing. It's Stanley Kubrick. His production
it's gonna
is
be good.
always stunning. But yeah, I highly recommend it, and it is my third
Might
favourite
watch it.
film. I would definitely watch it.
My third favourite film ever is The Princess Bride.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Wait.
Why was
It
it, on
wasn't
my
your-
romances? Because, like I said, it's not the romance that makes me love the film so much. It's not my
Right,
favourite
okay.
romance.
I wouldn't have put it on there.
I love
do
it.
love
That's
The
very
Princess Bride, but-
interesting.
It's got everything I want in it. It's got action. It's got romance. Although I'm not the biggest fan of that. It's got the sword fighting scene is the best sword
Oh,
fighting
it's
scene you will
brilliant.
ever
That's very good.
see, and soundtrack wise,
I would not have said that would have been on your list.
No, it's
Surprised
just
me.
a brilliant film.
Nice.
Dan's
Number two, we're
My
getting
number
very close
two.
now. This is
My
exciting.
number 2 of all time is from my favourite director. So yeah, we've gone to this. My favourite director hasn't been mentioned yet. Wolf of Wall Street.
Interesting.
I adore that film.
My name is
every
Jordan
single
Belfort.
way.
The year I turned 26,
I made $49 million,
Hello.
which really pissed me off because it was shy of $1 million a week.
Yeah, I just there's nothing. My top 2 films are perfect. There's nothing wrong with The Wolf of Wall Street in my eyes.
How do you feel about the runtime?
I don't.
Do you
care.
not feel it?
Couldn't care less. Could have gone on for longer, and I'd still appreciate it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
To be fair,
I don't get bored of it at any point.
I think DiCaprio should have. I think DiCaprio's performance in that is stronger than his performance in The Revenant,
Me too.
which he won the Oscar.
100%.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that, but I do have The Revenant.
The Revenant's incredible, but his
Wolf of Wall
performance in
Street is
Wolf of Wall Street's amazing.
Okay, right for my number 2, and Danny will hate me for this. He will hate me for this because he said earlier, but I love this film, and it was the first film that made me truly love Danny Boyle as a director. It's Trainspotting. And I'll tell you why. No. I'll tell you why. Because also, coincidentally, the book is also my favourite book. So the story, I have to attribute that to Irving Welsh, the writer of the book, because he had such a big contribution to the film, and I think it was Mark Hodge who did the screenplay. but it's fabulous. It's an amazing film. It's gritty. It's in your face. It focuses on something which. He's train spotting.
What was it? Oh, my dad used to train spot. He used to stand at the station and
Wavy Davy!
Yeah, he used to wave at them. Oh, it's Wavy Davy again. Oh. No. So me and Tom tried to recreate the train spot thing, didn't we, Tom?
We did try to recreate.
Choose life. Choose a job. Choose a career. Choose a family. Choose a fucking big television.
I do appreciate it, although no, I do appreciate it. It's just it is a good film. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but it's just I don't know why I didn't make it onto my list because it's not really what I look for in a film.
To be honest, when I first got into it, the people I would my friend group, Dan, Tyler, other Dan, you, apart from Dan, his brother, you guys really didn't like it. Like, genuinely, even to this day, you didn't like that. And it took a long time
it took
before you could
four
actually
viewings,
properly appreciate it. But I have to say, the film is brilliant.
Quite emotional.
The film is brilliant, but the book is so stunning. It's my favourite book. It's so depressing, humorous, all these different things at the same time. And it's like one big mind-boggling piece of meatballs. Ball. If I had the Trainspotting book, I'd show it up.
For goodness sake. Right, my number 2 is, and I believe Tom will totally back me on this one, With Null and I. With Null and I. With Null's a name.
I love it so much. So much.
It's number 1.
I
love
think
it so much.
That is a perfect film. The script alone is absolutely
I've
brilliant.
never heard of it.
Basically, it's about Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann, the two failed actors in the movie actually, and they're basically living very roughly in the 70s, and it's the turn of the
two failed actors, yeah.
It's the turn of the decade, and they think we need to get out of this sort of suburbia. So they go to the countryside, and lots of things happen. One thing leads to another. They get chased by a bull, and they get threatened by a man with a leech, and it's very, very funny.
It is. I have no criticism
It's
of that
awful.
film.
It's also very sad. It's all about friendships and the trials of friendship.
It's very...
We've had those, haven't we, guys? Trials of friendship.
The realism of the film is so evocative, and I think, personally, I feel compelled to watch it more and more and more, because it's got a fantastic screenplay, and what can I say? The acting's so amazing. Two of probably the best portrayals in any film ever. And it's low budget. They were unknown actors before it happened.
Richard Griffiths also is brilliant in it as well.
Oh, he's
That's the homosexual uncle.
When was it made?
1990.
Would have been 90-something.
7? No.
Oh, so
Earlier
it's
than that, 95.
But
maybe.
it's set in the 70s.
so it's not like old.
No.
But it's like 90s, yeah. But it's...
Big up Paul McGann as well, one of my favourite
Hey.
actors.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Right, my number 1. You guys
Number
aren't gonna
1.
agree.
Let's all say it at the same time because we all know what it is. 3, 2, 1.
Lion
Magic
King.
Mike.
You thought it was Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, it's the Lion King.
Lion King. Lion King. It's just everything
I
about
don't hate
it.
it. I said this when we did the animated film. It is a good film.
I actually got a couple of Oscars. The Lion King.
Couple.
What, 6 or...
Got like 6.
Did it get 6?
6
Yeah.
or 7.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a stunning
No,
film.
it's just.
Simba about Simba. I don't want to be king. Grow up. You know, I wanna grab him I feel like his mother. I wanna grab him, slap him in the face. Say, you're gonna be king, son. You know, go back to Pride
But
Rock.
you wouldn't have opposable thumbs.
What, as a lion?
Yeah.
I got a sore throat, so that didn't go very well. But I'd
Wait, you do it and I'll make the noise.
no. No, Lion King.
It's great.
Actually,
Come on.
is also-
Be nice.
Say it's good.
No,
say
it
it's
is really
great.
good. I really
Out
like.
of 10, what would you give it?
Out of 10, I give it a 8.5 or a 9. I think it's pretty
It's
solid.
a 10 out of 10 film.
Do you know what bit I really like? That's quite underrated. I think I really like the sort of music video, I suppose you can call it. To I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so the colours
The
are
colours
so
are
striking.
everywhere. Yeah.
It's
And,
really nice.
Oh, Sivenya!
Mamma mia, si va là! Shishiboom.
Okay, right. So my
Number
one.
one film.
Number
That's
one.
number 2. It's With Null and I. My favourite film of all time.
I still
and
don't know what it's called. You guys keep...
With Null and I.
With Null and I.
With Null. It's a name. With Null.
Oh, with Null.
Whitnell or with Null. Yeah.
With Null and I.
Yeah.
And I tell
I
you
thought you were
what,
saying I'm with someone called Null, and I.
And I am with them.
Yeah.
one thing I really
You're an
appreciated
You're an
though,
idiot.
is it took a couple years for me to actually enjoy this film properly, because I remember watching it and finding it really boring watching it with my dad. Like I was probably like 10, and he put it on, and I was like, Dad, what's going on? Why are they acting so weirdly? Which is actually quite funny, because that's what
My ex-girlfriend said as well when I showed it to her.
When
we
she
actually
was
switched. We had to switch it off.
17.
No, she was about 12.
Pretty much, Seth summarised how amazing the film is, because it's not an overly complicated script. It's quite fundamental,
Yeah.
but it's brilliant nevertheless.
I've actually ordered the script just so I can read it.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. It is so good. Oh, I love it so much.
It's a really nice bit where they're talking of beautiful.
Right, I know what it
films.
is.
I don't know.
No, don't say films.
Films.
Film.
But okay, there's
Oh,
He tried to put in
no.
a trilogy, and he's not allowed. So you have to say one of them.
I know. And
This is where Seth tragically falls.
he's been
And he
doing
will
so
not
well.
redeem himself from this point onwards.
Right, go on.
The Lord of the Rings,
Oh.
the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, why?
I get-
It's not even that good.
It's so good.
It's okay, but it's not the best film ever.
It is absolutely the best film ever. We were talking about scores. Howard Shore's score is perfect. Peter Jackson's direction. I don't know what happened with that trilogy. It's like he just got really good at directing for 3 films and then stopped being good after that. But it's so good. The whole trilogy is good. But the Fellowship of the Ring especially because
Stop
it's
saying the whole trilogy.
the
Talk
Fellowship.
about one.
Okay, the Fellowship of the
I've got a
Ring.
sniffling nose.
Bless you. The Fellowship of the Ring, especially because it's the landscape is beautiful. It's shot in New Zealand, and the work that went into making all those dwarves look and hobbits look small and Gandalf look big and stuff. Don't do your Gandalf.
No, that wasn't very good.
No, go close to the mic.
Bilbo Baggins.
It's actually pretty good.
Although Bilbo's actually not really the protagonist in the Lord of the Rings.
Still in it though, isn't he?
But yeah, but he's
What's another character in Lord of the Rings?
Frodo is a sort of main guy.
Oh, that's hard.
Frodo.
Yeah.
Frodo Baggins.
And I hate to spoil it, guys. No, I'm going to because it happens in every movie he's in.
I'm just gonna
as
mute
in
you.
everything.
Okay, right. So that is all of our lists, and now we're going to move on to our one honourable mention film, which was so close to being on the list. Starting with Daniel.
I've got 2.
Ah,
Choose.
I've got
Choose.
2, but they're basically the same film.
fine.
Okay, fine. We'll let you off. But say them.
Right, it's Raging Bull and Taxi Driver.
You know what's mental?
What?
My honourable mention is Raging Bull.
It's incredible, isn't
No,
it?
really.
Yeah,
Mm.
Martin
It's
Scorsese.
so close to being on the
Martin
list.
Scorsese, I said he's my my favourite director of Wolf of Wall Street, and oh my god, that film's incredible, Raging Bull. Anyway, what do you guys think about Taxi Driver?
Oh yeah, great film.
It's amazing.
I mean, I prefer Raging Bull, but it's still.
Can you do your?
Can't go
Oh,
wrong.
De Niro.
I'd just like to say, Dan, there's a really good curled
God.
lip. Oh, it just captures Robert De Niro perfectly. Can we zoom into his lip?
You talking to me?
His voice isn't as good.
It's not even that good.
No, his lip's perfect. I just want to kiss him.
You talking to me?
But besides, my honourable mention is in fact Pirates of the Caribbean, the first movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
And that's all from Sessions for this week. We'll see you next. Why? It's so.
It's a best film of all time.
I think it's one. I think it's one of the best fantasy action adventure sort of movies of all time. That's quite an obscure category, but I think it is.
No,
That's
no.
where Johnny Depp really came into that character.
You see,
didn't he? That's
Raging
his
Bull,
most-
Taxi Driver, yes. No, Daniel.
That was actually the exact sequence that he does. It actually was.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, right. So the last section of this video, we've hit on a lot today, haven't we?
We have. We hit on a lot.
Same
Hit on a lot, yes. I thought we were going to do the best directors.
Oh,
Best
favourite
I
directors.
said my Martin Scorsese.
Okay, my favourite director of ever is, of course, Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
I just love him.
Different, but okay. What's yours?
He obviously, he's been thinking about this for a long time, hasn't he?
One eternity later.
I don't
5,
know.
4,
3, 2, 1.
John Hughes.
Interesting.
Ferris
Ferris
Bueller,
Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Pretty in Pink, 16
Ferris
Candles.
Bueller's almost made onto
He's
my
done
list.
some act.
Brilliant film.
He's just a very
He's got Simba in it.
sophisticated director.
It's got Simba in it.
What does?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes, was it?
Matthew Broderick.
Does yeah,
Broderick?
or something like that.
Anyway,
We've come to the end of the video. And this one's been a long one.
how sad.
I'm glad you're still with us, but well, you might not be. You might have clicked off.
But then
Therefore,
they
they won't
won't.
know. And on that note, we will
Wait,
see you.
next time, what are we talking about? What's
Well, we
next
decided
time?
on something, didn't we? Oh, we're talking about television.
Television
So if you're a big
programmes.
TV binge watcher of Netflix,
We're going
then
to do
please tune
our
in.
top 5 TV programmes.
Excluding like reality TV. This is just like our
So,
favourite.
no Love Island.
Put down. Although
With this girl, and this girl, and this girl, and this girl.
Brilliant.
so if you think we've missed any films, overlooked any particular directors, please
Adam?
feel free to comment.
And comment below your favourite director ever.
Yeah, and your favourite film.
Also, in the description of this video, there's going to be a poll as well, and you can vote on whose list you think was the best out of all of ours. And we like to have a little bit of friendly competition, so we'll see who wins that one.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us on this evening, and we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Bye!
Bye!
It's proper weird talking to a camera.
You're a hit debate dance.
This camera actually gone off?
No.
No.
Oh, I wish it did.